All right, thinking aloud. So this is a revamped edition, which means people that actually know what they're doing came and they beat me up for several hours, and then they decided to take my software and actually use it for good instead of evil. So here we are. This is Thinking Aloud, and this is a brand new edition, and I got some brand new players. We got a big team. You're gonna meet some of the great guys here, but here's two of the best I can think of, and I'm gonna ask them to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Christopher Bueno.
And I'm Mariano Quintero.
These are my two nephews, my brother's oldest son and my sister's oldest son. I just realized that. And one of them is my godson. The other one is Mariano. And so, I just showed up to my mom's, hung out with the family, and they just said, like, hey, remember that thing with the podcast? And I go, yeah, you're fucking bad at it. So we're going to fix it. So they did it. And then I said, well, what are we going to do with it now? So we kind of molded around a little bit. And then we really don't have a really great plan. And then they said, why don't we do what you did? I did 5 Elvis songs. So they said, let's do 5 Beatles songs. So that's what we're going to do. And so I asked them not to show me the songs. And we're just going to go one by one. We're just going to pick them apart. And I'm going to try not to make fun of them.
Yeah, definitely.
So who's going to start?
Okay, I'll go first.
Mariano!
Did I just 5? 1 through 5?
No, let's go one.
Okay. So my first song that I wrote immediately was "Here Comes the Sun."
Hey, yeah, you got no arguments here.
Yeah.
Why do you like the song?
I just something about it, just
right,
like the do 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 do, just goosebumps every time.
Yeah, I 20 years in now, that song does not ever not have an impact on me. If I'm having a bad day, I have a good day. And the chord structure and what he was doing, and because this is what I do is I fill in with my nerdness. He wrote that song when the Beatles were basically going through divorce, like they were dissolving their partnership. Bunch of lawyers, and what happened was that George Harrison called in sick and said, I just don't want to do this. I'm not going to have another. I think they were going to have a board meeting, and he just said, I'm not doing this. I'm just not doing this. And so he called Eric Clapton. A lot of people don't know this. And he said, I'm coming over. And he's like, what? He goes, I'm coming over, man. And so he showed up into his, he rolled up in a car, and he came out of the car. He was already carrying his guitar. This is a true story. And Eric Clapton's like, what the heck? And so he rolls in with his guitar, and he goes, come out, let's go to the garden. And Eric Clapton goes, I don't do that. And he goes, no, but George Harrison was just that guy. And so they went out to his garden, and they're just hanging out, and he goes, grab your guitar. And again, Eric Clapton, he's like, I don't do that. He goes, grab your guitar, we're going to the garden, and we're going to watch the sunrise. And they're just goofing around, and then he just started, yeah. The ice is slowly melting. It feels like spring is finally here. And there goes the song. And Eric Clapton said, and I'm so proud that was basically in my backyard.
Yeah.
Great pick. That would have been mine. So, Christopher, you're about to ruin everything.
Mine was A Day in the Life.
A Day in the Life. So, okay. This is considered to be the greatest McCartney-Lennon collaboration of all time. Everybody thinks that that's the best song that they did together. The reason why is that both of them came with 2 incomplete songs, and George Martin basically made it into one song. So,
I never knew that.
What?
I never knew that.
Yeah, it was a hybrid. So why do you love that song?
Because I think like the overall, all of Sgt. Pepper's, it basically departs from like, I kind of considered like the Beatles' previous albums to be mainly the boy band era of them.
Yeah.
To your chagrin probably.
Uh-huh.
But Sgt. Pepper's kind of took like it took a huge turn just in the sheer amount of production, and also just how strange some of the lyrics were. Day in the Life in particular, just like, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's such a step in a weird direction. I love that.
So what I say is I'm bored with that song because they play it too much, in my opinion.
That's true.
It's a really great song. It's more my bitchiness. It's an awesome song, but yeah, Rubber Soul is where they kind of took the turn where we're not going to be the Fab Four anymore. And then I think it was Revolver, and then Pepper, obviously, which most people consider to be one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people say that Rubber Soul is that song. I mean, honestly, it's just that I hear it more than enough. But it's also because I listen to a lot of Beatles stuff. But that is a perfect song where I think I already mentioned John had an incomplete song and Paul had an incomplete song and George Martin just mixed it and just made it what it is. It's an interesting song, right?
Yeah.
It goes in a really different direction. I mean, I really love that. The one thing I was complaining about, but when somebody spoke and I woke up in a dream,
and it plays like it sounds like a dream.
Yeah,
the best way to describe it.
You know what? It does sound like a dream, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Perfect. Good job, Christopher. All right. Yeah, he sold me. Now I'm gonna tattoo that on my own. All right, number 2, buddy.
All right. So for me, number 2, I wrote "Baby It's You."
Love that song. That's a Cherelle song, no, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Oh yeah, Grandpa, my dad, their grandpa, his favorite song is "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow" by the Cherelles, and the Cherelles, "Baby It's You." That Motown thing, man.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what they was doing. But like, I can't remember who said it, and so I'm not gonna bother to try, and we're not gonna look it up. Somebody said when John Lennon yells, it's the way I wanted to yell when I was 16. Can't love myself, 'cause baby, it's you.
Oh yeah.
And then and again, speaking of the unspoken Beatle, George Martin, because I love that guitar solo. It's so freaking simple, but isn't it pretty?
It's just, yeah.
And it's George Harrison and George Martin's playing some kind of a keyboard, like dun 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 dun. So he's mirroring what. Yeah. If you hear it now, hopefully you guys can hear it. He's basically just backdropping George Harrison's solo,
complimenting it.
But isn't it perfect? Sometimes things are just perfect.
It blends.
Sometimes simple is better, right?
Definitely. And
you wouldn't know that was a doo-wop song by an African American quartet.
No.
From the late 50s, early 60s. And that's the genius of the Beatles, is that they really knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They had influences from everybody, and they were aware of everyone, and they used them. So what a great pick. Good job, Monty. I almost fired you earlier. All right. Christopher, number 2.
Tomorrow Never Knows.
Oh, yeah. That's based off of something stupid Ringo said.
Really?
Yeah, you'd say like, tomorrow never comes, or tomorrow. They call it Ringoism because you'd always say something dumb. And he said, tomorrow never knows. And I'm like, okay. And then
sounds cool.
And they wrote a song based off of his dumbass. 8 days a week is off of that too, by the way.
Really?
So, yeah. Okay, you go ahead and walk me through this one, please.
Was it specifically just the fact that they brought in a sitar just into the mix?
Great.
Changing it up from their usual instrumentation. What was it? This came off of Rubber Soul, right?
Right. I don't remember exactly, but we can look it up. Go ahead. Keep talking.
It was what was it? That's Rubber Soul. I believe was like Sgt. Pepper was definitely like the biggest turnaround from the Fab Four. But Rubber Soul, like as you mentioned, was like kind of like Rubber Soul and Revolver were kind of like where they started to depart from that.
Yeah.
When I ended up taking a rock and roll history class in college, and we heard like a lot of those 50s pop songs that were very like just so bland, I want to say. Okay. Very like very little instrumentation, just very wholesome lyrics. And then you get something just as bizarre as this. It's like as I mentioned earlier, I generally favor like the more bizarre tracks that they have. This one, as you said, like it was based off just Ringo saying something that sounded cool, but
here's the one thing I'll add. They distorted the hell out of John Lennon's vocal because he wanted it, and so they distorted it through I don't remember anymore how those things. Back then, they only had 8 tracks, but they ran it and phased it and fuzzed it because John Lennon, at that point, they were experimenting, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
He wanted to sound like the voice of God, and that's why you hear this. It is not trying, and then you hear that, and because he was trying to create
like an angelic kind of voice,
or godly.
Yeah,
that's a really good pick. I didn't expect you to do that.
Yeah,
this is why I told these guys not to tell me what they were going to do because it makes it more interesting, and also I hate them. that was really good, man. I like that one. Here we are.
So for my number 3, I chose Octopus's Garden.
I love that song so much.
Yeah, it's just
That's another Ringo song, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to be
under the sea, but and that guitar.
I know.
One of us in this room is a huge fan of George Harrison. I'm not going to say who. But isn't it? It's a playful.
Yeah, it's like
melody.
Upbeat, just.
So, are you ready for the nerdisms or what?
Bring it on.
Go for it.
Got nothing better to do. I took all their keys, so they can't leave until I'm done. That's when Ringo actually quit the band.
Really?
He quit the band and he borrowed a yacht from Peter Sellers.
Mm-hmm.
You guys probably don't know who he is.
No idea.
One of the greatest actors nobody cares about anymore. He was the Pink Panther guy.
Oh, okay.
You older people will know. And the rest of you, shut up, man. And he borrowed his yacht and he went to like Sardinia or something. Like he went somewhere like out of the blue. And so, again, going into my Mark Bunnell brain, everybody had quit the band at some point and nobody gave it a damn. Like even when when George quit, John Lennon said, we'll just get Clapton. There was a lot of friction, which happens. Remember, these guys were like 15, 16 years old, you start a band, you get rich, you get married, you get divorced. Yeah. And anyways, but when Ringo quit, they panicked. They legitimately panicked. They're like, oh no, because he's the only guy who's good specific. No, he was like, he had the personality to keep them together.
Oh, he was the glue?
He was the glue. He was the glue. A lot of people don't give him enough credit. He was a great musician, by the way. I hate it when people say that he wasn't good at what he did. He was people call him a song drummer. Well, when you have George Harrison and John Lennon and Paul McCartney in front of you, you better be a good song drummer. What are you going to do? Say, no, this is the part where I do this. By the way, I'm gesturing and you can't see me. And I've been yelling at myself about this for a while. But anyways, when he quit, they panicked. They literally, all three of them freaked out. And they all sent him telegrams. And when he came back, George Harrison adorned his drum kit with flowers and garlands and leis to welcome him home because they really did freak out when Ringo left. Yeah. And when he came back with that song. So isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's definitely pretty cool, right? Everybody's learning. We're all losing weight. What a great pick. Good job, man. But the guitar solo, by the way.
Oh, it's amazing.
I wish we could play tidbits of it, but we don't want to get sued. Plus, we're lazy.
That's on.
Big guy, you're next.
So, could it technically be 2 songs? Because it's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts
Club Band. You can do whatever you want. You're already fired. I'm already replacing you with the dog. That's why she's sleeping. She's resting.
So, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Oh.
And then.
Yeah. Cool. Talk.
So what was it? It was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band is just like one of the. There's a lot of great first songs on different albums, but this one really just kicks off.
Just kicks the door in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheer production. I mean, trumpets in the background.
Yeah.
What was it? People cheering. It really sounds like you're at a concert watching.
Well, and I think that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, you're just there's a band on stage introducing Billy Shears,
and then it just piano's off, and then it goes into that, and then to just Ringo's best.
Yeah,
it's just wow, we like Ringo. It's just a Ringo centric. John Sandoval is pissed off. I'm telling you right now.
Ringo doesn't get enough credit, honestly.
I don't believe so either. John's going to beat us both with a stick. But that's all right. You just say something bad about Ringo later.
Noted.
I love that song a lot. But what you said is true. It's just totally just... And then you hear bump, 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 bump. So, quick story. I'll tell you more about this in a minute. And by the way, I was telling these guys that when I die, they're going to write a book about me called Quick Story. Because every quick story is 4 hours. But I took Christopher and my other godson, Jason, to see the Fab Four when they were kids. It was your birthday, I think.
Yeah.
And how old were you? Like 12, 13?
12, I think.
And I said, well, I don't want to buy them toys anymore. I want to give them an experience. And so I took them to see a concert, you know, which was it was a dinner show. It was cool, right?
Yeah.
You know, like it was nice and quiet. It wasn't anything crazy to take a 12 and a 13-year-old kid. And it was fun, but when they did that, the thing is, those guys, if you guys haven't seen the Fab Four and you're a Beatles fan, by the way, you're doing yourself a disservice. I've seen them multiple times. What Christopher's saying, they did all that, but they did it on keyboards. But there's 4 guys.
Yeah.
And they were doing that. The horns that Christopher's talking about, you have the John Lennon guy with a guitar slung around his neck, playing on a keyboard. Again, I'm gesturing. And then a tambourine smashing against his shoulder. And everything was note perfect. It was just so, it's so much music, right? And they were just, it was note perfect. You might as well have been listening to an album. And what a great pick. Everybody so far, I don't hate you guys yet. I'm going to write terrible things about you later in my diary, but for now, we're good.
You don't hate us yet, but we have plenty of time to change that.
Yeah. They're working on it. Trust me. Okay. All right, let's keep it going.
So my 4th song is All You Need Is Love.
Oh, yeah.
Just the opening to that song is just...
Yep. Which is, by the way, that's the anthem of France, I think.
Something like that.
Europe.
You know, Mick Jagger's in there somewhere, and so is Keith Richards.
Are they really?
Yeah, they did that live.
I had no idea.
But they're just like in the background. It's a great song. I just played it this morning, to be honest. Yeah. It's a really good song. There's not much I can say about that. There's no Buenoisms there.
It's just a good song.
It's just a really good song.
It's a beautiful track.
John Lennon just trying to do something more. You know, we could do a whole other hour on John Lennon, and we probably will at some point.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's not even my favorite Beatle.
Definitely not mine.
No. Yeah. Who's yours?
Probably Ringo or George. It's a tough call.
Cool. You?
Probably. I don't know. I switch.
Thinking Aloud, episode 6. Why I hate everyone. No, I'm kidding. No, but yeah, he was definitely at that point trying to like create something a little universal, and that was kind of like the closest they got. But they did a good job, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's a really good song.
Yeah, really pretty.
It was like, I mean, that's kind of what Live Aid was going to be in 1985. You guys were like not even close to being born by then. I don't even remember it, to be honest. I was 47 years old at the time. I was going through a nasty divorce. Lost my second house, my third wife.
All at 5 years old.
Yeah. I had like 4 dogs. One of them's here. But yeah, I think they were trying to do something really big. And they kind of achieved it. I think outside of like when Elvis did Aloha in Hawaii, I don't think anybody had done anything that big at that point. And and then that one, it's only one guitar, but isn't it I said I'm not going to do that anymore. Isn't a sweet guitar riff though? It's real good. I wonder who played that. No,
I don't know.
Great pick. I have no complaints so far. All right, man, hit me.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Oh,
that was a beautiful track.
Yeah. Nobody knows who the secret.
It was George Harrison.
No, but nobody knows who the hitman was on that one.
The hitman, no.
There was a guitarist. It was not George Harrison. Did you guys not know that?
I didn't know that.
You really didn't?
I didn't. I thought that was George.
It's Eric Clapton.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He's the lead.
When he said it, I kind of knew it.
Yeah.
I just was unsure.
So what happened was is that he was doing the song. And this is the point where the Beatles were kind of like, they're really just fighting a lot. Everything was kind of fractioned. And I hate that a lot of people kind of marginalize George Harrison because, you know what? I'm just going to scrap what I was about to say. It was hard for him being the third boys because John and Paul were basically trying to be alpha male over them, and he was kind of squeezed out. And he was like, shit, I'm not, you know, somebody to be ignored.
Mm-hmm.
And he was writing more and more, and a lot. That's why he had a triple album, which is sitting next to me right now, by the way. We'll do it on the epilogue. And he was writing songs that were reject them, because they were trying to outdo each other. And it was sort of a friendly rivalry. It wasn't friendly after a certain point.
Yeah.
Both guys are tough, hard-headed dudes. Both guys are really talented. Both guys are great singers.
Yeah.
And George got kind of left, you know, out in the cold. And so he wrote this song, and he knew it was a good song, but they were not giving it any time.
Mm-hmm.
They were just dicking around. When he would finally get them to work on it, they were just half-assing it.
Yeah, wouldn't take it seriously or nothing.
Yeah.
And it was making him angry. So one day he had just had enough, and he just was like, all right. So he called Eric, and he goes, hey, I'm going to the studio. Come with me. He goes, why? We're going to lay down this track.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, what? He goes, you're going to lay down this track, and you're going to play on it. And and this is an interview. If anybody is a George Harrison fan, and I trust me, none of you are, there's this documentary that Martin Scorsese directed called Living in the Material World. And he has a lot of interviews about this. And he told them, well, let's go. Come on. And Eric Clapton goes, I can't do that. And he goes, why? He says, because nobody but the Beatles plays on Beatles tracks.